happening with that. For the next company we've got coming to present, it's a company called Moneytree. They're actually a fintech company. They're a Japanese company. They are a very, very international Japanese company, which, apart from those big, massive brands, is actually, quite rare in the startup world. There are about 50 people in Japan, but over 18 different nationalities and coming up for 19 different nationalities. So it just shows how diverse this group is. We've got their CEO coming on stage to outline their mission to dramatically change the manner people engage with money. Please welcome to stage Paul Chapman. Please give him a big rise welcome, please.
Can anyone hear me? There we go. Good afternoon. I thought I'd just have to shout really loudly. It's a pleasure to be here today at the Growth Summit. It's a very cozy audience. I could just walk up and shake everyone's hand, but that would probably take 12 minutes. So I'll just say hi from here. I'm the chief executive and founder of Moneytree. We are a very international Japanese company, 18, soon to be 19 nationalities on the team. We have operations in Japan and Australia. We're post-Series B. We've got investment from Salesforce.com. Additionally, all three Japanese megabanks. That was a hard one to close. We also have investment from SBI Group, which is formerly part of SoftBank. They've got that massive fund. Well, nothing to do with that anymore, but we got money from someone that used to have something to do with that. And Baillie Gifford. I think there's someone here at the conference from Baillie Gifford, and they invested in us. Additionally, what Moneytree does, when we set up the company, we thought, look, the mission is to help individuals, businesses, and financial institutions come closer together, basically to better connect. And we do that by enabling the private and safe sharing of confidential financial information. So there's one essential thing that you need in order to have a future with artificial intelligence, and that's trust, and it's often overlooked. Earning trust is needed because, well, we need access to high-quality data. Consider this. The best artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms in the world without access to high-quality data are really no better than a sports car, an expensive one at that, with no fuel in the tank. Sure, you can look at it and say, hey, this is my fantastic sports car. It's red. Does it work? Well, no, I haven't got any fuel. And the fuel for AI is data. Unfortunately, the state of affairs in personal data today is pretty miserable. I mean, we all know this. As users, we assume that most free consumer internet services share at least some of our personal information with unrelated third parties. And we know that some very, very popular social media apps, well, they try to get as much information off our devices as they can, even without our knowledge. So, for example, they might get our contacts. They might get our call logs, messages, private photos, location data, and more. And also consider this. Traditional data businesses, we also think that they don't quite do it right. Not to mention the fact that they often fail to protect our personal information, but when there are data leaks, they don't respond transparently. Now, it's 2018, and people care a lot about their privacy. Consider that. I'm sure you all do if you're asked. Do you care about privacy? No, I don't care. Just look in my bank account. It's fine. Most people care. And businesses should care too, because in a GDPR, that's the General Data Protection Regulation, was enacted in the EU recently. In the GDPR and a post-Cambridge Analytica world, it can be very costly if you don't do it right. So, Moneytree's main product is a financial data sharing platform called Moneytree Link. And Moneytree Link, I use the following analogy to explain really quickly what it does. Does everyone know what an electronic health record is? Okay, some people nodding, some blank faces. Okay, a gentleman nodding a lot at the back there, thank you. So, an electronic health record is your entire medical history in electronic format so that you can share it with a healthcare provider with the hope that you'll get a better quality of medical care. So we do that, but with your financial data. And the Moneytree platform allows you to then, of course, as a business or as an individual, create a data wallet in the cloud, store the entirety of your electronic financial record, not your health record, we don't do that, the entirety of your electronic financial record, safely and securely, and you control it. Of course, you can share aspects of your profile with whomever you like. So companies that are using Moneytree Link to access that data with consent, they have to provide the reasons for accessing it, and it's up to the user to decide whether that's worth their while or not. And I'll give you a really good example of an app that is using Moneytree Link. It's our app, actually. So we have a personal financial management app creatively named Moneytree. Yes, we thought of that ourselves. And the Moneytree app actually has over 1 million users in Japan and Australia. Now, I bet you didn't see that coming. You probably thought the app was going to be crap. The app's actually pretty good. In fact, Apple has awarded it the Best of App Store twice. We were a launch partner for the Apple Watch in Japan, one of 10 companies. We've been on the App Store day one, featured for, I'd say, at least 3 major releases of iOS. So the app has a really good reputation. And it has a good reputation because it also follows the principles of privacy by design that we used to create our platform. And in fact, the authors of the GDPR use the same principles. But we're not an app business, we're a data business. And when we set out to make a data business, we knew we needed trust. So we started off by not doing a bunch of things that your typical data business does. We don't advertise to you. We don't sell your data. We don't anonymize your data and sell it. We, of course, don't give access to your data to anyone that you haven't given express consent to. We don't trick you into giving consent to sharing it with unrelated third parties. There's always fine print. Got to watch out for that. And we don't make you into a product. Now, it's usually at this point in my presentation that people say, well, Mr. Privacy by Design, that's all well and good, but how do you make money? Ha, ha, ha. That's a great question. So my next slide is talking about our business model. Now, of course, today we're talking about data and AI. And I think privacy and consent is a key topic in data and AI. So as you can see here, we have service providers and we have users, and there's Moneytree Link. So a user can store all their electronic financial information inside their personal data wallet. And then a service provider can ask for permission to access some or all of that. And they do that by using the platform through an API to say to the user, we would like access to this information for this purpose, with this scope, for these benefits. And then it's up to the user to decide whether they say yes or no. If they give consent, data is shared. If they don't give consent, no data is shared. And isn't that what everyone expects with this kind of service? Not, oh, I signed up 6 months ago and all of a sudden all this other data is flowing out. That's not what we expect. So Moneytree Link, what do we handle in this process? We manage the privacy and the security for both parties. Additionally, we provide access to nearly 3,000 discrete financial and other data sources in Japan and Australia. And we have already 40 enterprise clients on this platform, including 15 financial institutions. And I can tell you, it's not easy selling to a bank. It takes a long time. But I'm glad to say banks do want to change. So in all of this, I can give you one other example. So we have a client called Credit Engine. You can probably guess what they do, online lending. So if you want to apply for a loan online through Credit Engine, you can permission access to Credit Engine to look at your cash flow data from your bank account for the purposes of giving you a loan. And we don't just provide the APIs to get the data. We provide the user interface and the user experience designed by our team that made the same award-winning app to make it easy for users to know what they're consenting to, and to make it easy, of course, for service providers to convince their bosses to implement it. Oh, that looks pretty. Oh, I know what that does. OK, we should do that. So you've heard about how we provide consent-based access to confidential financial information, and it's of high quality, because it's new, it's up to the minute, it's fresh. Next, I'd like to talk about how Moneytree utilizes AI within the platform. So there are 3 things that are key to our implementation or application of AI. That's being able to engage digitally, earning trust, and therefore getting access to data, and then learning from user decisions. And we don't just do this in our own app. Because we're at the top of the stack and the bottom of the stack in our clients' apps. So many of our bank clients use our APIs to get data, but they use our interfaces as well to provide some of the user experience. And so what that allows us to do is something pretty cool. So in Moneytree, we use machine learning, actually unsupervised machine learning technology, to categorize and enrich data very accurately. It's 95% accurate, our categorizer, and it's been trained on 10 million user decisions. So users have said, this transaction is a bar, this transaction is for shopping, this transaction is a gift. And so these are purchase categories. And so we have very, very accurate categorization. And we can do that because we have the engagement, we have the trust, we have the data, and then we get the decisions. Decisions can be explicit, such as recategorization, or they can be implicit, such as which parts of the app they decide to interact with. And so what we have here is a virtuous cycle within our own app and our clients' apps for creating new models and algorithms. Now, the state of the nation at Moneytree is as follows. We have over 2 million users in Japan and Australia. So this is not some pie-in-the-sky concept, and it's not a white paper. Unfortunately, we're not doing an ICO. We're aiming for IPO, the other letter. We already have 54% year-on-year growth through the platform. As I mentioned before, 15 FIs, financial institutions, are using it, 2 Japanese mega banks, 9 top regional banks, and Japan's #1 credit card issuing group runs their entire mobile app off of our platform. Additionally, our Series A round was led by Salesforce.com, and we became the first venture business in history to get simultaneous investment from all 3 Japanese mega banks. And I can tell you that trust profile was hard to earn. We earn it, and we keep re-earning it every day, but it has helped us basically convince bank after bank to join the platform. Additionally, we took investment from SBI Group and Bailey Gifford, who were described by Bloomberg as the unicorn hunter. Well, you know, a startup guy can dream, right? So in any business model, and I'm appealing to you because artificial intelligence is so significant and so important to our future, you need to have some advantages. And for us, the easiest two to understand are user experience is super good, super high quality, and trust. Trust is at the core of everything we do. In fact, we've been effectively GDPR compliant for 5 years, and the GDPR just came into force a month ago. And that's because we use the same principles. So that's one advantage. Maybe that's something someone can copy. In fact, I hope people do. The next advantage is that we're validated heavily by enterprise. And bank after bank are coming onto our platform because we're helping them go fully digital and also to leverage the potential of data and artificial intelligence. But lastly, and I'd say this is probably our top and most difficult attribute to copy, so I'm pretty proud of it. We have a highly scalable user acquisition model. So every client, every bank, every accounting software vendor, every ERP provider that uses Moneytree Link gets their customers to make a Moneytree ID because we host the data. We look after the API keys. We look after the authentication information. We also have insurance to cover for any losses. So in short, we have the potential for a huge network effect. And some of you might be thinking, well, why would banks give you their customers and pay you to use your SaaS service? Well, I'll tell you this. We are emphatically not a bank competitor and not a bank destroyer. We're working with them, and we work with fintechs too. And in our ecosystem, both individuals, businesses, and service providers are all first-class citizens. So if you'd like to find out more about Moneytree, contact me. We're connecting people, businesses, and financial institutions, helping them find balance and discover new ways to grow their collective wealth, just in time. Thank you very much.